It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. That's right. We are 1 week away from Christmas. We've got
That's
Eagles
wild.
game day, Sixers game day. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to PHLY Phillies podcast. We've got Tyler Zulli back from vacation to rejoin us here. Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington. And already I see so many of you in the chat. Matt, Santiago, Will, King Ming. Hello to you too, King Ming, even though you always come in with the Philly sports hate. We love to see you here, too, especially if you're hitting that thumbs up button while you're here. We've got Provolone John. We've got everybody here so far. Welcome, guys.
Provolone.
No.
That just makes me think of the Reading Terminal tomorrow.
Okay. I thought you were going a different direction with that.
I'm just really excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow at 10 a.m., we will be kicking off the start of our live shows at Reading Terminal Market. So it's an exciting day here at PHLY Sports. Well, every day is an exciting day, but tomorrow is even more exciting, guys, because we'll be having all of our shows live at Reading Terminal Market. Our show, the Philly show, will kick things off at 10 a.m., and then we've got all the rest of our PHLY shows. We've also got our NFL show going to be recorded as well out of Reading Terminal. So for those of you that tune in live, Tyreek, Mickey, everybody else that's tuning in live virtually, you can actually join us down at Reading Terminal for some food, fun, and good conversation.
Yeah, I've done this event in the past with a coworker of mine that happens to work for ALLCITY, and they bring you a sampling of the market. So my advice to you, Renee, would be to come hungry.
I'm always ready to eat
and
food.
Potentially thirsty, because Molly Malloy's is a great bar.
Yes! 3 minutes in, finally.
All right, Will, you win MVP of the day. Will gets MVP in the chat.
Oh, Will, I love you. So thank you for the compliment, Will. I was just telling the guys before the show, because I don't fish for compliments, but for women to get our hair done, it could run you easily around $600-700 just for a hairstyle. So I was like, bring on the compliments. I just dished out a lot of money and time to get my hair done. Shout out to my hairdresser.
What amount of time are we talking here? Like 2.5, 3 hours? 6?
Oof. Well, my hairdresser, Z, shout out to Z.
What up, Z?
Does do a good job of getting it done quicker than most. So it might be like 3-4 hours. It could be, for some people, it's an all-day thing. Like, you're going in at 8-9 o'clock in the morning. You're not getting out. Do they at least
give you, like, a glass of wine or champagne for those
Some
prices?
of them do.
Okay.
I always bring my own. If you know me very well, I always bring my own food and drinks everywhere. So I always bring my own meals and stuff. But, they don't always supply that. Sometimes you have to have a nice hairdresser like mine that does have wine on tap.
Yeah.
But it's an all-day affair. You easily are going to lose at least half your day. So lots of money, lots of time, and I appreciate you guys for noticing. And yes, it is giving off some X-Men vibes, but that's not what we're talking about here today, although keep the compliments coming,
So I
guys.
saw it on Instagram, and I forgot to say something.
Thank you, Jamie.
Tyler, I did say, oh, that looks nice. And then Tyler kind of, one-upped me there by actually verbalizing the words to you before the show. And then
as married men, I feel like you guys appreciate and understand what women have to go through.
My wife recently got her hair
compliments.
colored, and I learned a long time ago to stop asking what things cost.
Don't ask.
Yeah,
Don't
so
ask.
it's just better if I don't know.
Yeah, don't know.
Nope.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yep.
That's the hair policy. All right, well, it's been a very exciting, $35 for a haircut, I wish. Jeez.
I paid nothing.
Jeez. Must be nice to be men.
Yeah.
All right, you know what else must be nice?
No
to be
shampoo,
getting
no nothing.
opportunities to get paid big bucks. I'll take that deal also. That would help with my hair finances if I was able to have a lot of big contracts. But before we even get to the big contracts, I feel like we had a moment of realization. Oh, wow. Thanks, John. Thanks, guys. I mean, it's compliments, but it's also you guys like, pew, 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 little slap in the face for reminding me of just how much I could have bought instead of getting my hair done. So Appreciate that. It is actually the equivalent of a car payment. A monthly car note is about the same Sometimes, and for most of us, cheaper than how much it costs to get my hair done.
So we actually,
oh no,
we're going off the rails, I guess, to start the show. I actually had this conversation with my cousin and his wife and my wife last night. They came over for dinner, made some delicious French onion soup because it is soup season. And we had this conversation about because we're going away for a day right after Christmas and the cost of a hotel room. And we talked about even if you made, let's say, Yamamoto money, which we'll get into in a second because there's a Jeff Passan update, I still would find it hard to pay certain prices for certain things. I know, because I just think some things are overpriced. Even relative to what you everybody was like, no, your scale will change if you're making that much money. And I was like, I don't know. I think it would still pain me because I equate everything in life to what you can get with that money. So if that haircut was I don't even want to know how much, I would equate that to oh man, that's a car payment every month. And I do that with everything, and it's kind of my financial sickness.
Yeah.
So I know you'd make more money, but I'd still find it painful because I'd be like, oh well, that's a month's worth of groceries right there, or that's this. And I always compare things to what other things cost, and I hate it about me. So,
it's good to have a broke mindset even if you have money. I think that helps people be able to manage their money better if you're not just going out frivolously spending it on everything.
Man.
Because if you had Yamamoto money, I think I too would be a little bit less meticulous about every cent of where my money's going.
So we're going away for one night. I was like, oh, one night in this hotel is almost equal to our 2 car payments. That math doesn't math. You know what I mean?
The math. For me,
that kills me inside.
Here's what helps, and then we're going to move on, guys.
Yes.
Eventually, we're going to move on here.
Maybe.
Soon. Possibly.
The Eagles play today. Maybe we'll just make this a pre-game
We might not. But what always helps me out with spending is, I know, I see the comments. I see it. I'm just going to let those comments rock, Mickey and John and Provolone.
Just hit the like button, boys.
Is the fact that I will pay extra for convenience. I will pay extra for fun, memories. So depending on
that's why we're building core memories for the girls.
That's priceless.
It's also but it's also both car payments this month.
Yeah, but every once in a while you have to invest a little more for those priceless memories.
I guess, I know.
Those memories have a big price.
I wish I could stop thinking like this.
I know. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's a me problem. This is
totally fine. Yeah. All right, so listen, there's a lot to talk about today. We'll get into some stuff around the Phillies as well. But I think the biggest and most pressing thing that we've got to start with is Yamamoto. I know we were going to open up with some Phillies talk, and we will get to some Phillies talk. But listen, Yamamoto has doubled back. Now, there have been some reports that came out this past weekend. Joel Sherman of MLB Network reported it that on Sunday, the bidding war for Yamamoto has continuously intensified this coming week. Definitely seems like things picked up this past weekend. And according to Sherman, Yamamoto had his second meeting with the Mets on Saturday. And they weren't the only team, especially not the only team in the Empire State to meet with Yamamoto. The Yankees also have requested a second meeting with Yamamoto as well. That took place on Sunday evening. So he had obviously a chance to speak with them. We know the Mets flew out to meet up with him. The Yankees met up with him in LA last week. And now he's doubled back to New York. And the Mets and the Yankees have had second meetings with Yamamoto. Bob Nightingale is saying the Yankees continue to be the favorite because, of course, we've read reports that the Yankees and the Dodgers were co-favorites. And now, to me, this seems like a 1-2. Yankees is the favorite, in my opinion, Jamie. Mets as that number 2 insurance team. And it seems like Yamamoto really has interest in playing in New York, and now wants to just solidify, okay, am I going to land with the Yankees? And if not, I think it's the Mets that are actually the backup and not the Dodgers anymore at this point.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like he's going to New York in some way, shape, or form. I saw one report that said, he wants to help return the Yankees to greatness. And the Yankees are probably, are they still the most prized team in all of sports? We'll check on that. Regardless, they're top
following's
3.
Not the biggest
probably
anymore.
Not all of sport. I
mean,
Barcelona. There has to be a Man United, one of those.
But they're top 3 or 5
probably
in terms of valuation. So it does have that worldwide. I'm sure Japanese kids dream of playing for the Yankees one day. So I'm sure that there is that appeal there. I was curious what it would be like to be kind of wined and dined at Steve Cohen's house. Have you ever seen the shark in his?
I don't think I'd want a shark.
So here's a picture. I pulled it up. So he has so much money that he doesn't really know what to do with it. So at his one house, he has this full great white
Shark
shark in formaldehyde in his like foyer. But if you're walking into somebody's house,
I'm walking out.
but they have a check for $250 million.
Then I'm coming back in.
Yeah. So I wonder
Just
if
going to a different room.
it seemed like Steve Cohen just wanted to get Yamamoto to his house to be like,
Well,
look at my shark. Look what I can bring you in life.
In all honesty, to have those meetings in LA or for them to fly out to meet with him for both teams does them a disservice. You want to bring him into your city, bring him into your home, quite
Tyler,
literally.
can you screen share the shark so the people know what we're talking about?
Yeah, you want to bring him into your home and give him a chance to see this is what life can be like for you.
Yeah.
It is interesting you bring this up as we were just talking about being financially cheap and everything, that someone has a whole shark in their house. And for Cohen, I don't know. That's interesting. That's a whole
wonder what
topic.
it costs.
I know, and now it's got my who feeds it?
$8 million.
Do you have you know how people have
Oh,
a dog walker? Do you
It's
have
a tiger shark.
Do you have a shark feeder?
Well, it's dead.
Wait, what? It's just floating?
It's floating there in
It
formaldehyde.
looks like it's swimming.
No,
Ew,
it's
that's gross. That's
it's
disgusting.
a preserved tiger
Can you show
shark
this? Did you show it?
submerged in formaldehyde in a glass panel display case. It's artwork, Renee.
For those that
It's
are
called
listening on
art,
podcast
sweetie.
platforms,
Look it up.
Please go check out the show. Go see this picture. Tyler's going to give you guys a chance to see it in a moment.
It was commissioned in '91 by Charles Saatchi, who sold it in 2004 to Steve Cohen.
You have a dead floating shark.
Widely reported to be at least $8 million, just in your foyer as like a piece of artwork. Like we have this nice bookshelf here with
Most people have. You walk
nice
into their front
jerseys
door.
over
They've got a
there.
nice bench you can sit on and take your shoes off.
Nah.
They've got a nice, welcome sign. Maybe it's a little spot to hang your keys. Maybe it's for grand foyers for wealthy people. They might have like marble flooring and a nice chandelier. This guy has a dead
tiger shark. $8 million though. You can't help but be impressed if you walk
I don't
into
think I'm
somebody's.
impressed. To me, it's like you're just throwing money away.
It's art. That's the point. He has so much money that he can spend
There's
$8
so
million.
many other things. I would rather have a beautiful fish tank of a live fish.
I tend to agree with you.
And like some pretty, bring in Nemo and Dory. Have some pretty fish in there. And now when you walk in, you get greeted by fish. I would not eat a shark.
I think I've eaten shark. I'm positive.
Does it taste
I
like
have.
chicken?
No.
That's what
When I lived in Australia,
is.
we lived next to a fish and chips place on a marina.
When you lived in Australia?
Yeah, I lived there for 6 months.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Well, so I feel like you should eat shark when you live in Australia.
well, the fish and chips was shark a lot of times, and unless you know that, you wouldn't really know. So it's fine,
Fish and chip.
They don't advertise it as there it
Its
is.
mouth is open. I didn't even realize.
There you go, chat. There is
No.
the tiger shark.
No.
But you walk in, that is kind of badass. I don't know if I'm paying $8 million for it, but
Well, I like the actual look of the tank because I love the
cool.
color blue. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that you
light
can
coming
see through
through
it.
it.
But it would be much cooler if that shark wasn't in there.
I mean, it is pretty badass. $8 million
It was
is
more like
wild.
a pool vibe, or just like I said, fish. Just
It
go
did
with live
look really
fish.
pretty with the light coming through.
The,
You're
the
right.
light was the best part. Like you walk in, you see that light.
So Yamamoto walked in and was probably like, damn.
I don't know if I'm Yamamoto, but
If I'm Cohen, I'm getting people to my house. I'm showing that thing off.
I don't know if that's a selling feature or if that's one that's like, I'm judging you. Because it's almost like if someone has a dead bear head or
But much
something
cooler.
on their wall.
It's a full shark. The bear head kind of weirds me out.
Yeah,
but if
deer head, bear heads,
but like a giant.
antlers
When
and
I was in
stuff.
Alaska once, they had the preserved full bear doing
See, I love
standing
animals
up.
too much to
Yeah,
think,
but some
I'm
might die with
concerned.
that. I love animals too.
Do you, though?
Don't cancel us, Peter.
Do you, though?
But the full bear standing up is pretty cool.
It's not doing it for me. And I love decorating. For anybody that's hasn't found that out, I'm a big home decor person.
Your dream
rich
job
people
would
are
be
weird.
to run a Hallmark Channel inspired
I'd love that.
interior
I love
decorating
that
service.
because my kitchen actually has some of the same decorations as the Hallmark movies, and so we're right there. So the point for me is if you have all that money, go get. It's the holidays. Get a nice. I mean, he probably has a nice Christmas tree and all that too.
I'm
I
sure
guess.
it's like a 65
I'm sure
footer
it's
or something.
Yeah. But have a nice, beautiful tank. There's so many other options. You can have, I don't know, a baby.
That's the point. He has so much money that he doesn't know what to do with it.
I don't know what other nice animals swim.
A dead tiger shark.
A stingray. Jellyfish could be cool. Jellyfish could be cool. But I don't even know if you're allowed to put some of those in
I
a
don't
tank.
know. I mean, I think it's called an
man.
aquarium
This
at
we've
that
gone
point.
left,
John
guys.
Sequela says rich people are fucking weird.
Yeah, this is odd. This is very odd. Okay, so with that, all that to say, guys,
But Jeff Passan's update. Okay, back to baseball. That's why we're here.
Well, it's your fault, but
yes.
I just can't unsee that picture because
So, yes.
I really thought the shark was alive.
No,
but anyways.
it's preserved. So Yamamoto's there at the Shark House on Saturday night. Sunday he spends with the Yankees, getting courted by them. Reports are the Yankees probably are the favorite, and as Phillies fans, that's what we should all be hoping for. But literally, like 6 minutes ago, actually 2 minutes before we went on the air, Jeff Passan tweeted out a link to a Yamamoto story. I haven't read the full story yet, but based on his tweet follow-up, he says, also in the story, all of the alleged $300 million bids for Yamamoto are inaccurate, sources tell ESPN. Teams have been asked not to discuss terms yet, but that could change today when bidding, sources said, is expected to begin. Now is when Yamamoto's free agency gets real. So it appears it's, final offers in for your house type of thing. Like we want all final offers by Sunday. Well, it appears the real bidding window opens today. 300 million might have gotten a little out of control there, but I wonder, it's probably going to be like 225 to 250, something. It's still a substantial chunk of change.
So I like this because it's kind of like, let's first hear the offer before we hear the financial side of things. So every team got a chance to shoot their shot. You had the Dodgers, who brought in all the big ringers. They brought in Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. They brought in Shohei Ohtani. They brought in Will Smith. You had the Phillies, of course, as we heard, finally, through the reports that the Phillies had a chance to meet up with Yamamoto, but also we heard Bryce Harper FaceTimed Yamamoto, was a part in the recruiting pitch. Every team has really been putting out their best pitch. Steve Cohen decided to invite Yamamoto in to see his dead tiger shark floating in his foyer.
Flex.
It's a chance to flex. It's a chance to see here's what you would look like with our team. Here's why we want you to have you here. And then as he narrows down that list, because last week it was 7 teams, that the Phillies were one of those 7 teams that were, interested in the final grouping. And now it's been narrowed. It seems like it's been narrowed down. And so now let's talk money. Let's talk dollars. I've had a chance to hear everybody's best baseball offer. Now I want to hear the financial offer. And I don't know about you, Jamie, but I feel like for all the things that I've ever been involved with, car shopping, the college recruiting process, looking for a house, I don't want to know the numbers right off the bat, because then it skews my mindset on everything. I want to know an idea. Okay, we all have a ballpark picture of what Yamamoto's going to be going for. It's a lot.
So that's what... I just read a quick paragraph here of Passan's story, and he's kind of alluding to more or less what you're talking about here, which tells you that the Phillies kind of maybe have a little more of a shot.
It gives hope, because it's not like you're just going for the team that can pay the most.
He says this is directly from Passan's story. These reports, sources said, are inaccurate, meaning the $300 million. Multiple high-ranking officials trying to sign Yamamoto told ESPN that teams were asked to give a preliminary bid at the start of the process to ensure they were serious. And you always heard, there's these 7 teams that are serious contenders for Yamamoto. So it appears as though, at least whether in actuality or just proposal, the Phillies made a serious enough bid that they were considered one of the 7 finalists. So I still think it's like a 5% chance that it happens, but the fact that Passan says, that they basically had to have a preliminary offer to know you were serious, and then he continues to say, not necessarily in the neighborhood of where the deal is likely to land. Since his agent Joel Wolf has said, has not solicited the new round of bids. That's what's going to start today. So I guess we'll find out in the very near future how serious the Phillies actually were. Some team sources said we're interested in talking dollars recently, but we're asked not to do so yet. So the expectation is the teams will start proposing terms on Monday.
It's like a security deposit.
Yeah, kind of.
We want to lock you in first, show you we're serious about you, as you mentioned.
I will pay at least this much for that house. Can I get into the final discussions? Yes, that's an accurate enough amount. So why don't you come to the
I just think that obviously this is a business deal. We all understand that. It's about who can afford Yamamoto. But if you're leading with the money, it takes away the most important part of. For those of us that are not just about money, although I'll take that $300 million myself, it's leading with the baseball side first. So I think it even shows a lot about kind of what Yamamoto and his team is looking for. And it definitely means someone like the Phillies, you do have hope that there's a chance there because he's not just focused on going to the team that can pay the most. It sounds like he wants to find that good fit. So I'm all about it. That makes me excited. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still probably a pipe dream. It appears he's probably going to be New York bound. I just hope it's the Yankees rather than the Mets because I don't want to see that guy several times a year.
Yeah. Well, the Yankees have been very aggressive. I know reports were coming out by Ken Rosenthal that even if they don't get Yamamoto, they're still looking to be aggressive in who they bring in as a starting pitcher. So listen, a lot of hope that if it's not the Phillies, it's the Yankees because it's bad enough we have to deal with the Dodgers. Definitely don't want them going to the Mets either.
Yeah, Garrett Cole and Yamamoto would be a pretty good one too, assuming that Yamamoto doesn't suck. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, it would be kind of hilarious if the Mets got him for say $275 million and he did suck. I would enjoy that.
I would like him to not suck. I'd like him to be good.
I don't have any real personal feelings on him.
I feel bad.
If he is
legit,
legit,
when players don't reach their potential and they achieve in that sense.
Guaranteed dollars.
He doesn't have to be one of the greatest of all time by the end of his career. But I'd like
can
him
he
to be
one of the best Japanese pitchers to ever come over?
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
That's what the bar is.
Yeah, and I hope he is. But I would
for the sake of
feel
Japanese
better.
baseball, it would be cool to have that Ohtani and him come over within a 5-year window and potentially be two of the greatest.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mickey's saying MLB Network stated he should be signed by midweek. I have been hearing reports that we're getting closer and closer to a timeline because, of course, guys,
sounds like it's final
January
offer day.
4th is right around the corner as we're already getting ready to celebrate Christmas 1 week from today. And 2024 is 2 weeks from today. That's crazy, right? Now we are also getting even closer to January 4th because it's just around the corner. So I think this is definitely final offer time. This is when you go back in. You've got the appraisals done and everything. You're going back in to finalize that paperwork, get those final numbers, and see where you're going. By the way, thank you for all the compliments in the chat, for all the date offers that I've received.
Mm-hmm. I saw you got one in Arkansas.
Yeah,
was
looks
that
like
Santiago?
Yeah, Santiago's always hashtag
I always
single
knew.
Renee.
I had a feeling that we were big in Arkansas. We just feel like Arkansas people.
Santiago, tell some of your friends out in Arkansas. Let them know.
Mickey's talking about Yamamoto's pitch arsenal. We tweeted out a pitch earlier today, or a couple pitches earlier from our PHLY Phillies account, and the guy's stuff is absolutely filthy. So chances are he's probably going to be a pretty damn good major league pitcher.
For sure. And before we even get into what's going on around Major League Baseball, there's been some more updates from Cody Bellinger and Rhys Hoskins and Shane Bieber, different names.
New pitcher on the trade market, too.
Yeah, as we've been having lots of conversations about if the Phillies would land Yamamoto, if the Phillies are doing enough to be able to keep up with what's going on with the rest of the league. There was a nice piece that Todd Zulli put out and just talking about, despite the concern many of us have, and we've talked about in the show, myself included, maybe perhaps we're looking at this wrong. Maybe instead of thinking that the Phillies aren't doing enough to keep up with the Braves, the Dodgers, and the truth is they're trying to keep up with the Phillies in terms of starting pitching. And so I liked the piece because it did a good job of just outlining, of course the plan for the Phillies is to return their starters, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez, Taijuan Walker, Christopher Sanchez, with also the expectation that they're going to be even better than they were this past season. The expectation is more innings from Suarez and Sanchez, a better version of Nola, who, as we know, struggled throughout the course of the season in the beginning, especially. Wheeler to continue to be the ace and one of the best in baseball. And then hopefully if Wheeler gets that contract extension before the season kicks off, that only will help increase and encourage for this starting pitching group. And so looking at their WAR and looking at the numbers, it put things in perspective, Jamie, that maybe even we've been kind of overlooking. I know Will's saying it's a solid starting five. We've also been guilty on this show of feeling like, wow, everybody's doing so much, but starting pitching is so big in baseball. As much as you get excited and jittery about what the lineup's going to look like for the Dodgers, for example, I know we talked about them as a super team. It doesn't negate the fact they haven't increased in their starting pitching, especially since Ohtani can't even pitch this upcoming season.
Yeah, the Dodgers are going to be pretty nice a year from now when Ohtani can join that starting pitching staff. But it was a nice little sentence to read from Todd Zulli, that is. Just a good reminder that the rest of the league is trying to get on the Phillies level. And I think that speaks, when you think about how Taijuan Walker fell apart at year's end and how Aaron Nola had the ups and downs struggles throughout the year that he did, I think the fact that they had that good of a starting pitching, F4 compared to the rest of the league, really speaks to how good Zach Wheeler is and what a pleasant surprise Christopher Sanchez was. Because I don't think you become the best WAR staff in baseball. And this goes hand in hand with the Fangraphs thing we talked about last week. That the Phillies, according to Fangraphs, have the best starting rotation in baseball and the best bullpen in baseball.
Right.
So I don't think you get that best WAR if it's not for Zach Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez because of Walker and Nola, their ups and downs throughout the year. Walker was really good for like 2.5, almost 3 months. And then the wheels fell apart, and Nola, was up and down, and then Ranger missed some time with injury. So it's a nice reminder to read that, like, yeah, we're not like really chasing anybody in terms of starting pitching.
Yeah,
as the great Walter White would say, we are the one who knocks. So that's just a nice thing, and it went on the heels of the Jeff Passan tweet I saw, talking about money spent. If you exclude the Dodgers and their $717 million spent. The Phillies have spent the most money this offseason.
Yeah.
And it's all to Aaron Nola, but you do kind of like forget that is a legit move because it's a returning player.
Exactly. And I think that's where even what Dave Dombrowski's been saying and what we've been hearing from at the Phillies is it's been reiterating the same types of, everyone's going to be better next season. We've got faith in this group. We can run it back. And it's hard because you get caught up in all the other hot stove updates and signings that are happening and trades that are going on. And it's like, wait a minute, it's been quiet from the Phillies camp, but it hasn't been. Of course, as we all know, Aaron Nola's signing was huge. Of course, there still is in the process of having those conversations around who else is going to be brought in for the outfield and get bullpen arms and at-bats, everything we've talked about many, many times. But it still doesn't discredit the fact that you get nervous. And I think this was a nice perspective piece of like, all right, let's not hit the panic button because as we know in baseball, first of all, it's a long season, but also something like solidifying your starting pitching core. You have to have that. And looking at the Yankees, the Dodgers, of course, we know the Braves, what their pitchers are going to be like. But across the league, the Phillies are in great shape still. Yeah,
and you talk about the bullpen addition and what that might be. Well, Ken Rosenthal had a story from the weekend, and he talked a lot, which we'll get to some of the non-Phillies related things in a minute here, including like Dylan Cease and Bieber and Burns and all that. But the one update he did have was that if the Phillies failed to land Yamamoto, which is most likely reality, they could enter the mix for two other Japanese free agent pitchers, left-hander Shada Imanaga and righty reliever Shintaro Fujinami, who spent last season with the A's and the Orioles. Now, Tyler wants to take a shot. He was a slightly above average WAR relief pitcher. But one thing about him, if you talk about assembling the bullpen of guys who throw really hard, he had, I believe, 6 strikeouts last year with over 100 miles, like strike 3 being over 100 miles. 16, excuse
Huge
me.
Difference.
With over 100 miles an hour. So this guy's got gas, and I know, Tyler, you want to kick the tires on him for sure.
Yeah, I would certainly take a shot because I don't think he's going to cost a ton. Listen, the ERA is not good. He was much better in Baltimore in his, 29 innings pitched. The A's used him primarily, as a starter, and he was up in the 8s. He got moved to Baltimore. He dropped down to a 4.8. I mean, again, he only threw 30 innings, but I think that this guy's career trajectory is probably middle of the bullpen type of guy with high upside stuff. The whip is a little bit high, but again, that dipped when he became a reliever as well. It went from 1.6 to 1.2. The strikeout per walk jumped from 1.7 to 2.1. The strikeouts per 9 were consistently up in the 9s, which means he's effectively striking out at least a hitter per inning plus. I think his stuff is really, really good. I don't think he's quite figured it out at the major league level just yet, but this is the kind of guy that you could conceivably buy low on at 29, about to be 30 years old, heading into a second major league season that maybe could pay dividends for a team if he starts to figure some stuff out. Yeah,
and that's where you look to Caleb Cotham, who's very well respected. We talked about him, like a month ago when that story came out that he could be one of these fast risers in baseball. And you look at Christopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez and some of these kids in the bullpen, like, Orion has talent on his own, but obviously being in the system, something has been figured out a little bit. And some of these other guys that have had success under Caleb Cotham, and you go, yeah, that could be a really fun signing. So that was from Ken Rosenthal. So that could be one of the additions around the edges that Dombrowski has talked about. I would think Fujinami is more likely than Imanaga. Whew. Just if I had to guess, because I would think a bullpen arm is more likely than a starter.
Yeah. I think exactly as you mentioned, Jamie and Tyler. I know in the chat we're seeing some similar comments about the Phillies. I know John's mentioning a lot of what the Phillies need to add and are looking to add. Chris is giving his thoughts on it as well. Listen, it's about finding those, I hate to say bargain pieces also, as you mentioned. Like if you are able to get Fujinami for less or Imanaga for less, why not be able to get Fujinami or Imanaga and bring them in? But definitely a bullpen arm is the priority. So that's where the shift is of, if you're looking to have a reliever like Fujinami, okay. I think he could be a front runner. And I have faith in Caleb Cotham that he'll do a good job with whoever's
another
brought
guy
in.
that can throw 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Let's
and
party.
you give, and those are the types of things, okay, he can work with that, to say the least. And I think for the Phillies overall, I just have faith that whoever they bring in as that additional bullpen arm is going to be able to
John
assist.
says, they've done well with high velocity arms with control issues, i.e. Jose Alvarado.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Rays all but gave up on him, and the Phillies brought him in and made him a really damn good relief pitcher, or helped make him, I should say. He might be the guy that fits that mold, and that would be a great around the edges, cheap expenditure. I still think they need an outfielder. I really kind of hate that there's no chatter there. Because I do wonder if they're actually going to add somebody. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
I think it's obvious that they should. I don't know if they're actually going to in reality.
I don't either. And actually now looking at some of the moves that happened this past weekend, it makes me even more nervous as I'm seeing some of the names coming off the board. But first, I want to just also update our very own Rhys Hoskins, the chatter that's been around him. So we've all wondered where Rhys Hoskins is going next and what's going to be his next stomping ground. Now, the Cubs have been a front runner that we've heard most consistently. I know when we had Sarah on, who covers the Cubs, she was talking a lot about what, Rhys Hoskins can add for the Cubs who are looking for a first baseman and looking for a great clubhouse guy, and Rhys and for the ability that he has to be able to smash balls out of the ballpark. So John Morosi reported Saturday that the Mariners are also showing interest in Rhys Hoskins. It seems as though the Cubs have been a little bit slower. Now the Cubs, previously there were reports, had discussed a 1-year or multi-year contract with Rhys's representatives, but it feels like things have slowed down around the discussion for Rhys. And now the Mariners might be sliding in there a little bit as there's been some increased interest for the Mariners, and that makes me intrigued of where we're going to see Rhys going next, because I kind of was wrapping my head around him with the Cubs. I think I'd rather him go there, but either way, two good teams that I think he'd be a good fit for.
Yeah, there was some talk about the Mariners last week that they're like close. Why aren't they doing more?
Yeah.
And then Morosi's report basically said they feel as though they're having their own regional sports network financial woes and uncertainty there. So it's kind of, I guess, a little bit of an anchor on them. But they said, Morosi said, Seattle feels as though they have a tough time recruiting free agents to the Pacific Northwest because so many guys are from the southeast of the country. So, Rhys being from Sacramento, they feel as though maybe they have a little bit better of a shot with him. And basically he said if the Cubs don't wake up, they're going to lose Rhys here. So if he goes to Seattle, whatever. I think it would be cooler to see him in Wrigley personally, but then you can actually root for him in the AL as opposed to rooting for him in the NL.
This is true.
And him potentially, hurting the Phillies one day.
This is true. Neil's bringing up the all MLB teams. We're definitely going to hit on that too, because I was pleasantly, or unpleasantly, I should say, surprised by the teams as they were announced and just watching the inaugural weekend-long events that we saw. But listen, it is closer to game time, even though we may be feeling a little bit frustrated with the Eagles after their last 2 losses. The
What
Sixers
happened with
have
the
been very
Eagles?
up and down. I know.
Oh, they're struggling?
Oh, yeah, struggling a little bit.
There's panic
but
in the
you know where
building?
you don't
I
have to
didn't-
struggle? That's
Yeah.
over at the Game Time app, because the Game Time app makes it nice and easy. If you're looking to get over to the Wells Fargo Center tonight to watch the Sixers take on the Bulls, I'll actually be there. If you're looking to get
nice.
to a game, any game, concert, comedy show, go to the Game Time app, use code PHLY. It allows you to get $20 off of your purchase for all first-time users. And over at the Game Time app, they do a fantastic job of giving you the great prices, but also the chance to see your seat. So now you'll have an idea of where you and your friends, your loved ones, whoever you're going with are going to be seated. Get a nice stage view, court view, field view over at the Game Time app. They make it simple. They make it easy. They have lots of options for tickets to buy and great prices. So again, head over to the Game Time app, download it, and as a first-time user, you get $20 off your purchase with the code PHLY. We will get into what's going on. It is Eagles game day tonight. I know, Jamie, you're excited to be doing another Eagles post-game show. We'll get there because there's a lot of other things that have been going on around Major League Baseball
real
right
quick,
now.
it's a Phillies birthday. You're the big birthday. Aren't you a big birthday vibes person?
Birthday person.
Yeah. Well, I think before we get to MLB Hot Stove, it'd be rude of you not to wish a happy birthday to one of the Phillies. Do you know who it
Today's
is?
December.
They tweeted at him this morning and he said thank you.
Oh, it's Johan.
No.
I just felt like the way you said it was like somebody.
No, it's Brandon Marsh's
That was
26th.
my next guess. I'm not gonna lie. I promise you. I should have said.
Yes, he turns 26 and he shares a birthday with Ronald Acuna, who's much better at baseball than he is.
There were
That's
a
not a
couple of
slight.
great baseball players born on this
Yeah,
day.
Ronald
and-
Acuna is pretty damn good at baseball. He's better than most people on this planet. So happy birthday, Brandon Marsh.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, B. Marsh.
Little Christmas baby. I always kind of feel bad for the Christmas babies.
I do too, especially as a holiday person
Unless
because
the
there's no
parents go
separation.
above. Yeah, you need some space.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Do
Tyler
ya?
is a Christmas baby.
Uh-huh.
What's your exact birthday?
Tell me more about it.
What's your exact birthday?
The 27th.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse. 'Cause that's in between Christmas and New Year's. Yikes.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, that week between Christmas and New Year's is like
It's no man's land.
no, it's not a
Nobody
good time
knows
to be
where
born.
they are.
Well,
They're just
they're
perpetually
just
drunk.
partying, celebrating.
I mean,
they're
I guess
excited.
it's like the best week
holiday
of your
bliss.
year every year, right? Like that's kind of a given.
No. Well, see, I'm not a big birthday guy to begin with, so I don't really like.
Don't say that.
As an adult, I don't care.
Don't say that.
So for me, because you know,
Jabbing.
you do Christmas, holiday stuff with your side of the family, and then you do it with your spouse's side of the family, and then you have New Year's coming up, and in between, my wife asked me not too long ago, she's like, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" I'm like, "I don't know, go to work." She's like, "Well, but what about that night?" I'm like,
Go out to dinner?
I don't know, get ready for work the next day.
Go get a burger at the bar? I don't know. Yeah.
You need to celebrate birthdays, guys, because they're not guaranteed. Every year,
I enjoy birthdays.
Getting older, another year to celebrate, you have to take that time to pause and reflect and celebrate on life. You can't just skip over birthdays because what if it's your last birthday?
She said enjoy it because you might be dead next year, Tyler.
All
That's what
right.
she's saying. All right?
You just never know. And
So
not even,
you go enjoy that
But it's
birthday.
not just about you. It's even, I'm not saying this specifically for you, Tyler, but in general, people, you never know who's going to be there next year, where you're going to be in your life next year. Somebody could relocate for a job. Somebody could be pregnant. Somebody could be, it's not just bad things that could happen in the next year. It's great things too.
Or you
but
could be dead.
You need to... You need to pause and celebrate the now and take time to
Yes.
It could
Live
be
in the
something as
present.
simple as like Jamie said, go out, get a nice dinner, but something where you're saying, it's my birthday, happy birthday to me.
Oh, a burger at the bar is that's
I
always
love
good.
a burger. I ate a burger every day straight for the first 2 months of my college career, and
Every day?
I gained literally 30 pounds.
The freshman 30 with
Yeah,
Renee?
I doubled the freshman 15.
From the food hall?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Was it
great.
good?
I
You
had
ever miss
access
it?
to burgers. Oh, I just love burgers. I eat burgers all the time.
Really?
That's my go-to when I go out to
Cheese?
dinner. Nope, burgers.
Tyler, we discussed this last week.
Just a patty on a bun.
Renee
With
thinks
lettuce
she hates.
and
okay.
ketchup.
She thinks
and
she
you
hates
can even put
cheese,
some
but she
mayonnaise on
actually
there.
really likes
I
cheese.
do
Yeah.
hate cheese. I had this conversation this past weekend because everybody acts shocked when I say it.
But she
I
likes
don't know why it keeps coming
cheese
up.
pizza, mozzarella sticks, and
Cheesesteaks.
and
Cheesesteaks. Not with whiz,
But
though.
hates cheese.
But yeah,
What?
I put on a.
Yeah, we discovered this on Friday when you were sunbathing in
Well, here's
Florida.
another fun
This
fact
thing
for
wasn't
you.
even nice. The weather was terrible.
Oh no! I put on a freshman 30 because I went on a burger and milk diet because that's where I started drinking milk every day. So I was drinking milk.
Were
I
you
still
not,
drink
were
milk
you
all
in
the
the
time.
soccer program and still putting on this weight?
Yeah, it was muscle. But if you ever look at it's funny when I look back now at my freshman soccer pictures, it was all in my face. I had a rounder face. And then
great.
I was bigger then than I am now. I mean, I'm not big now, but
No,
I was
far from
I
big.
jumped. I was very skinny going into college, and I jumped to 155.
That happened to me too.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually playing lacrosse, and
I was
not
fully
like I
in
look
season.
now.
I was fully in soccer season. That's partly why I was putting out so much energy and stuff. I had to replenish the nutrients I was losing, and I was eating burgers all the time.
Like a Michael Phelps diet.
Yeah, basically. It was a dining hall burger. It wasn't like McDonald's or something, but it's all the same basically at this point. All right, let's run through some other news because we're going left again, and I want to bring it on back, guys. Bring it on back. Okay, so other news that happened around Major League Baseball this past weekend. We talked about Hoskins, but also Cody Bellinger. The sweepstakes continues for him as well, and his final list seems to be getting more and more narrow. It seems now it's the Cubs or the Blue Jays that he's been reported. John Heyman reported the Cubs and Blue Jays are the two likeliest teams for Bellinger. On Sunday, Bob Nightingale also wrote that Toronto has emerged as the favorite. Chicago is still in the hunt, as he says. So it looks like we might be seeing Bellinger, who, as we know, part of his issue was the numbers that teams weren't able to find a price point that worked for him and for them.
Yeah.
And it seems the Cubs also were struggling with that. But might be Toronto, especially after they didn't have a chance to be able to reel in Ohtani, might be able to reel in Bellinger.
Yeah, poor Robert Herjavec. I feel like Toronto hates him now. But it does feel like...
You went from a hero to a zero.
I know. You
That
live long
fast.
enough to see yourself
Maybe you
become
should
the
go get a
villain.
dead tiger shark to put in his house.
Maybe. It does feel like the Blue Jays are kind of desperate to make a splash here. So it would be interesting. Yeah, but again, like we talked about Cody Bellinger, I couldn't imagine giving $175 million to him.
Yeah.
And I think teams are kind of feeling that too. Okay, yeah, he's the best outfielder on the market, but are we really comfortable
price
giving him
point.
that much money? Not really.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. In terms of the pitching and some names that have entered the market, we'll get to what Ken Rosenthal said about Corbin Burns and Shane Bieber and Dylan Cease and all that. There's a name, and I think Tyler would be very intrigued by this name. Now, I'm not saying for the Phillies, but I'm also not saying for the Phillies. He has 1 year remaining. I think he's projected to get $12.5 million in arbitration, if I'm not mistaken. But the reason the Astros would move on from him is because he's in a year from now going to get a lot more money. Framber Valdez. Tyler, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that I get
So
that
am
it's
I.
clearly a money move, right? Because
Yes.
they are paying. Well, no, they're not paying Verlander anymore, are they?
The Mets are eating a good
Yeah,
chunk of
because I was
that.
going to say the Mets are still eating quite a bit of it. So
Old Shark Cohen.
I'm thinking about their pitching staff, and he's not making much.
Their
Framber Valdez
prospect
isn't
farm
making much.
system is ranked 27th in baseball, so they're viewing it as an opportunity to replenish the farm system.
Christian Javier is still not making much either, I don't think. I think he's still pretty team-friendly in terms of his contract. I know that they are... Yeah, okay, so he's at 5 at 64. That's not a lot for a starting pitcher.
No.
I'm really kind of surprised that
Yes,
this
a new
is a
pitcher
name
has
that's-
entered the arena.
Yeah, it's really kind of surprising to me. The only thing that I can think of is they are not convinced that they can re-sign all of their guys.
Yeah.
Yes, they must feel as though he's gone. I don't know if it's PTSD from the World Series, but that guy dominated us. So it's hard to not think about ooh, yeah, Framber Valdez. I didn't know he was available. I wonder if they make a call and see what the cost is because I'm
sure.
intrigued.
Yeah, I mean,
Even for a
imagine
1 year rental, I don't care.
I imagine there's at least a phone call that's been made.
I
at
think
the
a lot of
very
teams
least.
will be making
Yeah,
phone calls.
at the very least.
Probably all the contenders and the big market teams. But that was an interesting name, new one from the weekend that popped out. Very much, my ears perked up at that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the market's been interesting to follow. Of course, a lot of it's been dictated by Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto. But as names get cleared off the board, we're hearing some new names thrown in, which makes this all that much more fun.
Yeah.
I know we talked about Corbin Burns at one point. Of course, he's 1 year away from free agency, but GM Matt Arnold has said, because the reports and the rumors continue to swirl a bit, that he expects Burns to be the Brewers' opening day starter. Interesting enough. Might not. So we won't be letting it burn here in Philly, possibly. But nothing's for sure.
As long as he doesn't go to the Braves.
Yeah, exactly. And then also a guy
All
that
these
might be
guys.
going to the Braves, Dylan Cease, actually, as you talk about the Braves. So Dylan Cease has drawn interest from a lot of teams. We've been following Dylan Cease along with Burns and Shane Bieber as well, who I'll touch on in a moment. But Dylan Cease, now some reports coming out that the Braves are a team that's been very actively interested. That was Ken Rosenthal in Dylan Cease. So
so I read the Ken Rosenthal this morning from the weekend, and you know, Yamamoto, Snell, and Montgomery are the big free agent names. But obviously, as you just talked about, Burns, Bieber, and Dylan Cease, and now Framber Valdez are four pretty damn interesting names on the trade market. So Rosenthal thinks that this is all going to happen after Yamamoto, because there's so many teams after Yamamoto that are in contention. Once he signs this week, I think you're going to see an uptick in these trade talks because, you know, whether it be the Guardians, the Brewers, or the White Sox, they're going to try and pounce on the team that misses out on Yamamoto and prey on their desperation to get somebody. I feel like the Braves are going to get somebody, and I'm really going to hate it.
yeah, it's looking that
I really
way.
hope it's not Corbin Burns. If they got Bieber or Cease, you know, that's still a clear upgrade for them. But he mentions the Reds and Orioles as two teams that are on the forefront of Dylan Cease, with the other teams remaining being the Braves, Yankees, Giants, and Rangers. So, again, the big market clubs with money that are going to miss on Yamamoto are potentially going to be in on Dylan Cease. And if the Braves end up getting one of these guys, it certainly balances out the probably pitching advantage that the Phillies have over the Braves.
Yeah,
So that would
exactly.
suck.
That's not good. That's not good. We don't like that.
By the way, guys, here just taking a look at some of the Astros numbers, trying to dissect this Framber Valdez thing a little bit. I think I'm not sure if they're looking at this one of two ways. The first thought is a lot of their star players, not that they're old, but they're starting to get a little bit older.
Yeah.
Like, I still
They're
think
a little older than the Phillies core,
I
right?
still think about Alex Bregman as like 24 years old.
Yeah. What is
And
he,
he's
32 now?
He's 30 now.
30.
Jose Altuve's 34. Obviously, Yordan Alvarez is only 27, but like...
Daddy reports.
So they're getting a little bit older. Not that they're an old team by any means, because you could play baseball forever, but also some of the numbers jump in 25 and 26. We were talking about Christian Javier, right? He's at 7 this year, but next year he's at 10, and then in 26 and 27 he's at 21 apiece. So they're probably taking a look at that number. Alex Bregman's at 30 this year, and then he becomes a free agent. Jose Altuve's at 29, and then he becomes a free agent. Verlander's at 43 and 35. Now, again, that's a lot of deferred money to the Mets, but 26, he becomes a free agent. Jose Abreu's making almost 20 in the next 2 seasons. Lance McCullers is making almost 18 the next 2 seasons. Yordan Alvarez, they could pay him whatever he wants. He's probably still underpaid for the type of productivity that he puts together. But the point that I'm trying to get into is all of their big-time names that I just mentioned are impending free agents soon. And then on top of that, you look at Valdez, who is heading into the final year of his arbitration, and then he becomes a free agent in 25. Kyle Tucker is the same thing. Jose Urquidy is the same thing. And then guys follow behind that. Chas McCormick, Mauricio Dubon, Brian Abreu. They've got a lot of turmoil turnaround
with a bad farm system
to think about over the next couple of years. I think a lot of these guys are going to get paid, but I'm not sure all of them are going to get paid.
Yeah, so it's certainly an interesting name. I mean, that pitcher trade market is a robust one. Some pretty nice names, all more or less on, you know, those close to expiring deals, which makes them trade candidates.
Yeah, I know Rosenthal was noting that Bieber might not is due to injuries and everything. Bieber, someone that might not be as highly coveted or gaining as much interest as someone like Burns is doing in Cease. Of course, Burns and Bieber both entering their final season of arbitration. Burns expected to earn $14.1 million, Bieber $12.2 million, and so the market for
Those
Shane
are
Bieber
so
has but it appears that there's been some teams, the Reds, different names that have been thrown out for Shane Bieber. But it'll be interesting to see where some of these names end up. Also, the Twins have entered the chat.
You mean Target with the team that plays at Target Field, which is the stadium I got right on Friday? That Twins team. You like the way I did that, Tyler? Thank you.
I forgot.
Renee's sweating because there's 3 stadiums left, and I can tie her.
You can't though. You can.
I can tie her. So she's sweating. She's nervous.
We're not there.
Yeah, but we're also to a point now where you've got a 33% chance of getting this thing right.
The
likelihood is that
these
two of you are both going to get the same
win.
stadium.
I just need her to go 0 for 3.
We're not on Guess That Ballpark yet.
Well, I'm not. You know what?
But the Twins play in Target Field on Friday. I got that right.
I was going to say something, but I don't think I'm going to because I can't give Renee any more ammunition. Up 3.
Excuse me?
All you have to do is guess the same ballpark Jamie guesses every
But
day.
Stop talking.
But this is why I purposely want him to send them to you because I don't want anybody acting like I'm cheating or just going to ride
Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati.
That would be the way to
This is exactly why, though, for that exact reason, Tyler, because I don't want anybody trying to act like I'm...
win.
I know, but I don't want that. I want to win outright. And I don't want anybody to say, you're just guessing what Jamie's guessing. So
Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati.
All right, listen, we got to guess that ballpark.
Well, anyway, about the Twins.
Yeah, I know. We've got some news.
I just wanted to remind you, Target Field, I won on Friday. Okay, go ahead.
After I won 3 straight.
Nobody remembers that. Friday was the last show, most recent on the mind. Go ahead, Renee. What about the Twins?
Feeling like the Eagles. My winning streak got cut, and now all of a sudden that's all people can talk about.
God, the Eagles are a mess.
All right, so it is already 2:51, so we're going to roll through these next updates. So the Twins have been listening to trade offers on outfielder Max Kepler as well as infielder Jorge Polanco. That came out. John Morosi reported those news. So some names that are on the Twins' minds who play in Target Field.
Target Field, which is
also,
the stadium I got
the Diamondbacks have officially, we talked about Lourdes Gurriel, but Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is no longer on the market. He's off the market.
That's a pretty decent deal.
So the Diamondbacks signed Lourdes Gurriel Jr. to a 3-year, $42 million deal with a $14 million club option for 2027 and an opt-out after 2024. And so that's been interesting because the Diamondbacks have been very, very active as well. As we know, Eduardo Rodriguez was signed to a 4-year deal, $80 million contract earlier this offseason. So the Diamondbacks have been in re-signing and new signings, also making some big moves, guys.
I think, who was it in the chat that really wanted Gurriel? Was it MBD? Somebody in the chat, I think MBDBF.
MBDBF.
Yeah, that one. He really wanted Gurriel, and I was kind of with him. He was a pain in the ass in that NLCS. So the Diamondbacks have gotten a lot better. They added Eduardo Rodriguez too, and they're going to be, I would imagine, the favorite in the NL West. No. Dodgers, obviously. Wait. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm brain farting there.
It's fine.
With my divisions.
Why you brain fart? TAF KAMs, welcome in. You're saying I wish Arizona was a bay, not a state. That's interesting. But welcome in to you. Everybody else, Neil's confirming it was MBD.
Yes.
You guys really pay attention. Also, make sure you're paying attention and hit that like button while you're here. Hit that thumbs up while you're here in the chat. We talked about Dylan Cease, the Braves being a favorite, but also the Orioles are a team that was later in my note. The Orioles and the Reds have also been teams that have been mixed in with Dylan Cease's name. And then
as long as it's not the Braves. As long as it's not the Braves getting one of these pitchers, I'll be fine with that.
I don't know. Yeah, I hope not.
I really just wish the worst for the Braves.
All right. Well, partly why I think many of us wish the worst for the Braves is because when you look at things like the all MLB results that came out, it makes you annoyed. Okay, so this year was the 5th all MLB team. Everything began back in 2019.
Let's go through them tomorrow, but I want to hear how many Braves because I know that's what you're about to hit me
This was the first year where they changed things up. So they had a whole weekend. It was out at HyperX Arena. They had a Thursday dinner that was at the Delano Hotel, that overlooks the Vegas Strip. Players were there to sign autographs. Corbin Carroll was there. Zach Gallen, different players with their signed autographs. Friday, they had a golf outing. That's cute.
That's fun.
That was at the Shadow Creek Golf Course.
Ooh.
And
I think that's like 650 or 700
Oh
around.
yeah. So everybody was out in Vegas except for us.
Is that the
and
one
then
where
on
they model
Saturday?
Shadow Creek?
Here you go.
One of the courses.
Here you go, man.
One of the courses out there models like the most famous holes around the country on 118.
Well, if its name is Shadow Creek, I feel like Shadow should make sense that you're shadowing.
That's a good point.
So then after the golf outing Friday, Saturday was
$60
when
million
everything
course.
happened. So Saturday night was the All MLB Team Show. That was featured on MLB Network. And we'll get into a deep dive of the names that are on there. Now, the important thing to know is last year we had Kyle Schwarber and Aaron Nola on the second team. JT Realmuto made first team. This year, 0 Phillies. I know it was mentioned in the chat earlier. Big fat 0 Phillies that were on an MLB team.
By the way.
First or second, 0. And in total, Jamie, before you read that, we had... Wait for this. I lost it. There it is. The Rangers had... You want to guess how many? Actually, this will get your brain warmed up for guess that ballpark.
3
on both teams.
Oh wait, no, Simeon in the middle of the infield. 1, 2. I'll guess 4 Rangers. I'm missing somebody.
You
in
are
the
too
bullpen.
short. 6 Rangers between the two teams. Braves. What's your guess?
Oh God, Acuna, Olsen, Riley.
Did you say 6 Rangers?
6.
Yeah.
All right, so
6.
The middle infield,
6.
Garcia. I figured Montgomery made it. Somebody in the bullpen.
So did Jonah Heim make it?
So yeah, he did. He's on second team.
What about Josh Young?
Wait, I'm looking.
Third base. He shouldn't have, but I'm just curious.
No.
Okay.
Wait.
So it was Simeon?
No.
Who'd we?
Simeon. Okay. Marcus Simeon. Who's next?
Jonah Heim. You said
Second team.
Right, second team. Adolis Garcia.
Garcia died to him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Who am I missing?
Well, who's
Wait,
the
where
other
is
middle
Garcia?
infielder? I'm brain farting.
Ezekiel Duran? He didn't make it, did he?
Oh my gosh, I should just be doing a finder thing because it's like not listed by teams. It was also Seager and Jordan Montgomery.
Okay.
There's your 6. All right, on to the Braves.
Let's see. Acuna, Olsen, Albies, Riley,
Strider.
Iglesias didn't have that type of year, and he was hurt. That's got to be it, right?
Is your final answer 6?
No, I think 5. Is that right, Ty? You agree with 5, or should we up at 1?
Yeah, I
we're missing?
don't think Sean Murphy makes it.
He had a really good year, though.
Yeah, but so
Was it an all MLB year?
but so
guys?
you said Jonah Heim was second team, right?
Jonah
the Rangers?
Jonah Heim's on the second
And they're
team.
only carrying 1 catcher per team.
Correct.
Adley Rutschman had to be team 1.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
He's the best catcher in baseball.
So Murphy didn't make it. So is there any bullpen pieces? No, right?
I don't think to that level. I mean, they had a.
I'll say 5.
Okay, Tyler.
Yeah, I think that's. Although.
Ooh, shark bites.
Did we definitively say Albies made it?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't say if I didn't confirm any Braves.
To me, it's Olsen, Acuna,
Albies,
Riley, Strider.
Riley.
I'd go 4.
Wait, you just said 5. Olsen,
Acuna, Albies. No, not
fast
Albies.
math.
Olsen, Acuna, Riley, Strider.
You don't think Albies?
I don't think so. Not as.
He had a monster year. I'm going to go 5. He's going 4. Locking it in?
Winner is 5. Okay. Good job, Jamie.
I had Albies in fantasy
he's
this
on
year.
second team.
He was a monster.
And you were correct. They had a league-wide record of 3 on the first team with Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna, and
Matt
Spencer
Olson,
Strider,
you
and then
bastard.
Albies and Matt Olson were on the second team. And yes, like you said, Adley was the first team catcher for sure. You guys, good job in the chat.
Kid's a stud.
Yeah,
good
he
job
really
in the
is.
chat. I know there were some answers that were also being
The
predicted.
Orioles are going to be good for a long time.
They need arms, though.
Yes, they do. And that's why they're in the market for a Dylan Cease, Corbin Burns, Shane Bieber, or maybe Framber Valdez. All right, you starting to sweat, Renee?
No.
I sense a little uncomfortableness over there. You were fidgeting with the mic. You were moving the
well,
monitor.
I was turning the monitor because I didn't want you to see how many people.
It's getting close to guess that ballpark time, and I think I just sensed
I wanted you to tell the story of Ryan Howard though, because
that's a wild story.
That was in our. It was mentioned in our description. We can't leave the people hanging. They want to hear the story. So
it was in the description. Oh,
I did plug it in.
Okay. All right. This is courtesy of Todd Zulli, and I'd never heard this story before.
Story time with Jamie.
So it came off of the back of Giannis being a giant man baby. And watch out, there's a ladder over there. Giannis might come kick it over. Being a giant
did you see him on the bench with his kids when they were blowing out the Pistons?
He's a good dude, and I like him and all. But he acted like a total spaz weirdo the other night when he stat padded his way to the franchise history record for the Bucks. He stat padded. The other team sat their starters with like 4.5 minutes to go. They kept Giannis in for another 3 minutes so he could get some points. And
maybe to get, it's a momentum thing. Seeing the ball go through the net, scoring feels great.
So Giannis, runs down the hallway like a total spaz. And Todd talked about in his newsletter the fact that Major League Baseball, which I didn't realize, it actually makes sense. They do not authenticate baseballs that are hit into the stands because it's impossible to prove the chain of custody once it clears the fence, which makes sense because you could just come in with, some scuffed Major League Baseballs and be like, oh, I just caught, Albert Pujols' 700th home run.
Yeah.
And, it makes sense that MLB does that. So I had never heard this story about Ryan Howard before because they were talking about Giannis's basketball and yada, yada, yada. Ryan Howard became the youngest ever player to hit 200 home runs when he homered against the Marlins on July 16th, 2009. Where were you July 16th, 2009? What's Renee Washington doing?
2009, going into my senior year of high school.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
Damn.
Sorry.
Would you like me to make it worse?
I know. Going into senior of high school, I was probably on a soccer field somewhere.
Okay.
Or maybe playing. Yeah.
Tyler, where were you?
2000. What was it? September 2009.
July 16th, 2009.
That was the summer going into my sophomore year of high school.
Oh my God. Anyway, Ryan Howard became the youngest player in baseball history to hit 200 home runs. A 12-year-old girl caught the ball in the stands. I've never heard this story. She was ushered to the visitors' clubhouse where she received an autographed ball from the big piece, Ryan Howard, which is really cool.
Super cool.
For the ball. Later, the girl's mother went on to sue the Phillies to get the ball back. Howard gave it back. Todd goes on to say, now Howard does not have his 200th home run ball, and the woman who has the ball, basically he says that might as well be a batting practice ball to anybody else other than her and Ryan Howard. Again, these situations are rare. Todd.
So who do you think was right in this situation?
I think it shows that Ryan Howard's a really good person, that he gave it back.
Does. I'm sorry. Who should have kept the ball?
Ryan Howard.
Okay. Yeah.
What's this girl doing?
So
give him another
I think
home
what
run
they
ball.
need to
Give her the
start. I was going to
201st
say.
ball.
Well, I think what they need to do in this situation is you give her a different ball.
Yeah.
And you can write on there
Next home run
in
ball's
honor.
yours. Yeah.
No, you can even do in honor of catching the 200th home run ball. Because I just think it's just gonna sit there anyways.
Just give her an
Nobody
autographed
knows,
bat,
and you
jersey,
still
hat.
have that memory to share. I caught the ball, and you can still. It's
now.
it's
Do you
just
blame the
great.
12-year-old girl or the mom?
The mom was chasing money because people out here be so. This is what you have to watch for. People are so money hungry that they're out here ooh, I can sue and get some money. How are you going to sue the Phillies? Come on now.
Bad parenting.
Ryan should have kept that ball. I agree with you all. I know in the chat, it's the mom to blame. She just got so. But this is what people do. Exploit their children. You're going to bank off of your child because she had this great moment. Probably didn't even catch the ball. I'm sure somebody else caught it and gave it to her. And then the mom just ran with it.
Well, if I had found a bunch of extra cash, especially around the holidays, Renee, let's say I sold a Ryan Howard 200th home run ball, and I had some money that was burning a hole in my pocket, well, I'd probably head to Wayne or Westchester and hit up Wheelhouse Cards, because Wheelhouse Cards is our go-to gift and apparel shop sports card gift and apparel shop in the Delaware Valley, because their motto is cards and community, because the love of sports unites us all. They carry all of your favorite Card brands like Top Scrum Baseball and Mosaic Football, as well as Sweet Gear, t-shirts, hats, hoodies from brands like Mitchell & Ness, 47 brand, Junk Food, Starter, and Shy Vintage Sports. And if you're looking to grade your sports card collection, well, Wheelhouse offers PSA grading submissions. They also host a ton of different family-friendly events and birthday parties every single month. So stop into either store in Wayne or Westchester, open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. and use code PHLY to get $10 off any purchase of $25 or more in store. Be sure to give them a follow on Instagram at Wheelhouse Cards.
All right.
Hey, by the way, had either of you ever heard that Ryan Howard story before?
No.
Todd's email?
I've not.
I'd never heard that.
I had to reread that a few times because I was like, huh?
She sued the team. That's
Somebody was saying
trashy.
like maybe they were low on money. I mean, maybe, but
But just say, hey, Mr. Howard, for your ball, can I have $1,000 or $5,000?
Yeah, I would rather.
I'd rather that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're because are you? Yeah, no. It's just too much.
He can
It's
always
just
say
way
no.
Too much. Right? It's just way too
Or he
much.
might just say, yeah, sure, kid. What's your Cash App? Let me hit you with $5K.
2009, we were not Cash App.
No, we weren't.
We were like, that's part of the problem though. In modern age, I might have been able to just Cash App her. Here's $1,000.
Imagine if an MLB player was just like, there you go. There's
I would love
5K,
that.
kid. Get out of my face.
I would
Give me
love
my
it.
ball back.
That's what Giannis should have done. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Here's the deal, guys. We've already reached 65, the 65th minute of the show, because we are officially overtime.
Of course we are. Renee.
We work best in overtime, guys. Didn't you know that? Because it's time for Guess That Ballpark. Before we do we'll do this first, and then we'll briefly give our NFL thoughts, because it's been a wild weekend around the NFL.
Eagles are.
Holy crap, it's been a wild week. But with that, we have just tres. How many ways can you say three, Jamie?
I think
Bonus points.
you covered them all.
Three ballparks
All the
left.
languages.
City Field, Oriole Park, PNC.
I might not even look at pictures for these final three. I might just fire.
All right, and we're gonna be slacking or texting depending on what generation we're from. Tyler, our picks, and so with that, because Jamie did get Friday, the score is now 11 to 8.
So I just got to go.
So technically,
three
Jamie
for
has
three.
to get every single one right,
And you just
I
have to get
need
every one wrong.
right.
No, it's no big deal.
That's a lot of pressure on both of us. I think it's more pressure on me.
And the
than
chances
you.
of us guessing similar.
But these ballparks have very distinct looks, so I feel like this is going to be good. All right,
Tyler.
Oh, it's happened already.
Oh,
okay.
there it is.
Wow. Tyler's like, all right.
A lot of
moving
angles.
On.
Wait,
Looks
so
like a diamond.
It was
Shine bright like a
Orioles Park,
diamond.
City Field, and what was the third?
PNC.
PNC.
Shine
That feels like
bright.
PNC. Great American Ballpark. Final answer.
June. I won't sing as much because I have a cold, and I know I don't sound great with a cold.
Wait, hold on. We used PNC like 2 weeks ago, didn't we?
What? No, we didn't.
I thought we did.
I'm almost positive
It's
we
not
did.
on my list.
Oh,
so do we
no.
only have 2 ballparks left?
No.
Wait,
we
if
should
it's-
have 3.
1,
Do you know what they are?
3. Do you know what?
What kind of operation are we running here? Going off of Renee's notes, we're all doomed.
Oh no.
I think I have an answer. I just want to.
I'm pretty sure we didn't do it. Wait, let me go back and consult my notes. This definitely adds time, by the way, because. Well, Tyler, you know, because you have all the. I'll let you.
Yeah,
sort
I'm going
that
through
out.
all the ones that we had already.
Okay. Shine bright.
Yeah, PNC was used on Tuesday, November 14th.
What? Plot twist.
So
Who
what?
got that one?
So what's the third stadium?
Wait, what was that in between? Where did we do that?
This is a
That was in
disaster.
between
Yikes.
Comerica in Detroit and Chase Field in Arizona.
What? So we only have 2 ballparks left.
Or do we have 3?
Oh no.
I thought we had 3, but I didn't think PNC was one of
Oh
them.
no. Okay, wait. Do I need to go through the whole list that I have?
Oh no,
I
we're not doing this
cross-referenced
live
it.
on the air. So this adds a fun new element here.
I cross-referenced it with the list of all 30 teams. Wait, let me count my list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
While you count that, I'm going to lock in my answer, I think. Maybe not after seeing that center field.
Yeah, I have. Okay, that puts us at 28. So we do only have 2 left, guys. Plot
Oh.
twist. So you can't win.
No. See, now I'm going to make a third one because
Yeah.
No.
Just because you're
Historic stadium. I have my
You're
final
gloating.
answer, Tyler, and
I'm gloating.
I will.
I'm always gloating. Well, with 2 ballparks left, this makes this a lot easier. I'm going to text you my answer.
Oh, well, I will. I'm just going to put it in our.
Oh, no. Why isn't my thing not texting you?
Come on.
Come on, phone. On my
Final
computer.
answer in Slack, Tyler.
What you got, James?
All right.
Wait. Now I'm a little
Okay.
nervous
Nope.
because I did that kind of
Nope.
I did that kind of quickly.
Nope, we're locked in.
We're locked.
It's got it.
Jamie's answer was, well, so
Correct.
The ballpark that they now call, I guess it's just Oriole
Yeah.
something.
It's still Camden Yards.
Everyone
Oriole Park at
Camden Yards.
Yeah.
Jamie gave me Camden Yards. Renee gave me Oriole with like 7 E's.
Yep.
And it's, to nobody's surprise, both of those are correct.
Yeah.
Santiago said I went to pee and we're still in this park.
That's probably my second most attended stadium in Major League Baseball. I've been to Oriole Park a bunch.
I love
I've been
that
past
stadium.
there a lot.
It's
I've driven
awesome.
past there so many times.
Boog's Barbecue Pit. It's a great stadium. It kind of started the modern generation of baseball stadiums. Congratulations, Renee. You cheated better than me and earlier than me, and you won. So
the score is now 12-9. This has been fun. This has been so much fun. But you know what else will be fun is if the Eagles can win today and get off this losing
I think
skid.
they're going to. Because I just think when everybody's so down on them, they'll pop back.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is probably. It sounded like Ian Rappaport was saying he had COVID without saying it.
Well,
He was like flu-like symptoms without the flu.
I blame Micah Parsons. He got everyone sick
Is that
because
who
he
it
was
was?
sick last week, and now all of a
Rat
sudden,
bastard.
Jalen Hurts is sick. I'm blaming you, Micah. Listen, it's been a crazy weekend, and I was looking at some some insane stat that in Week 15, over half of the games that we saw. I'm sorry, under half of the games that have been
Hurts is
played
not playing?
have just.
No, I think that was just
Speculation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Posturing.
only 6 or 7 of the 16 games this past weekend featured teams with both of their Week 1 starting quarterbacks.
That's wild.
There's been so many quarterback injuries, and there were 4 games that featured backup versus backup or backup versus QB3 because we're now seeing backup quarterbacks get injured. But shout out to Joe Flacco. I don't know how I feel about the whole Joe Flacco thing.
It's
been
amazing.
cute. It's been fun. Joe Flacco, in my opinion, he's like, I'm just here to collect checks. I thought I was done. I was on the couch. I'm back. He's just very mild-mannered. But that the Bears' near win in that Hail Mary that we saw from Justin Fields.
That was wild.
Insane. Never seen a Hail Mary like that. And then T. Higgins, shout out to T. Higgins because he literally helped them beat the Vikings because that wraparound arm, the poise there, beautiful.
T.
And
Higgins'
I knew they
mom
were going to
was
win
roasting
in
people
overtime.
on Twitter yesterday. It was pretty fun.
I love that. Once he made that play, I was like, they're winning this.
If the Eagles can't beat Drew Lock, and I know they don't have Slay, and they might not have Hurts, and Eli Ricks is starting, yada, yada, yada. If you lose to Drew Lock, you don't deserve squat. And it'll probably doom the rest of the year and how I feel about them because I think this is kind of a get-right game.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been
This is
saying.
a get-right
Honestly,
game.
listen, I don't care how well the 49ers look right now. I don't care what's happening with the Dolphins or the Cowboys. I'm locked in on the Eagles, and regardless who's starting, but definitely if it's Drew Lock, the Eagles should be able to win today. And Marcus Mariota, if Marcus Mariota is the quarterback, so be it. Marcus Mariota should be able to do enough.
Well,
I know.
I need 2.7 points.
Especially if it's Drew Lock versus Marcus Mariota. You have to win that game.
I need 2.7 points out of A.J. Brown to get to my
Oh.
fantasy football championship.
Okay.
I need that to happen.
Well, also with this stretch, if the Eagles can't close out, Giants twice, Cardinals, Seahawks, I'm concerned come playoff time. Today is a day for me that's really going to sway me if I'm
Yes,
optimistic
it's
or
get
not.
right day.
It is. And if
the new
Eagles
defensive
don't win
coordinator,
today,
what the hell?
regardless, you got a new defensive coordinator, you've got possibly Marcus Mariota out there. Regardless of all these things going
Pets'
on,
heads are
go
falling
win.
off.
Go win.
Yeah.
Go win.
Zach and
Because-
Bo had a nice story on allphly.com. They did like kind of an emergency pod this morning before the pre-game. So yeah, I think they'll get right, and if they don't, the sky is indeed falling, and the season's probably over.
It is. I will say the only thing that makes me feel better before we wrap up is
Yeah, I'm about to pee my pants.
you always have to pee your pants on here.
Yeah, I drank a lot of red wine yesterday, and then a lot of water to combat
So let me
that.
take my time in sharing this.
Well, I'm just gonna get up and leave at some point if you're too long, because I'm not peeing myself on the internet, Renee.
All right, fine. fine. But what makes me feel better is when I watch the other teams, looking at the Chiefs' slow start against the Patriots. The 49ers beat up on the Cardinals. I'm not going to like take that. There's nobody else consistently week to week. The Titans beat the Dolphins. There's nobody week to week that's dominant.
The 49ers.
So that gives me a little... okay, but whatever. They still lost 3 in a row at one point in the season. They had their dip down, and they've dipped back up. The Bills are looking much better now. But all that is to say, it's anybody's season this year.
Yeah,
so I've got some hope. But you got to
right now.
You got to win today.
Got to get it right now.
All right, guys. Red Wine's got Jamie ready to run out of here.
A lot of hot reds
Hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your Monday. I know I'm going to be at the Sixers game today, watching the Eagles on my phone.
And Reading Terminal tomorrow. Hopefully
we meet. And we'll all
meet
be at Reading Terminal tomorrow. That is right. Our Reading Terminal Market Fun Day with live shows. You guys can join us. 10 a.m. is our first show. As the Phillies, we're going to be kicking things off at Reading Terminal Market. And you can come join us. We'll be having food. You'll be able to meet us. You'll be able to chat and hang with us. And we'll be having all of our live shows tomorrow. So thanks so much for tuning in. It's going to be a fun week here at PHLY Sports. And as always, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, subscribe, and following PHLY Phillies podcast. For Tyler, for About to Pee His Pants, Jamie, and for myself, Renee, let's go Birds, let's go Sixers, and we'll see you tomorrow at Reading Terminal Market. Bye, guys.
We all silly like the mayor.